Hi everyone, Corey here with Team Kramer Fishing, and this video is going to be a review of Shakespeare's Ugly Stik Crappie Rod. And specifically, I want to talk about using this crappie rod as a potential multi-species all-purpose rod. Okay, let's start by just taking a look at the rod from the top to the bottom. Now, as you can see, we've used this rod for several years, about 3 years now. So this rod has actually been used, I would say, with moderate frequency. Has foam handle. It's a pretty solid handle. It hasn't shown much wear at all. Has the Ugly Stik name impressed into it. Then you go up to the reel seat. This is a spinning rod, so it's for a spinning reel. Pretty cheap plastic reel seat. These are metal, but I mean, it's pretty cheap. Very small handle grip here, and then we move on up. And now the rod I specifically have here is, let me see if I can get in here. Okay, it's the 5.6 light, 4 to 8 pound size. Okay, and then we'll scan up. This has the same guides that you're going to find on a lot of Ugly Stik and a lot of Shakespeare products. There's no inserts, stainless steel. I think they call them tough guides. You'll notice that the rod is white, which you don't find as many Ugly Stiks that are white colored. And then slide this down a little bit, and then the very well-known clear fiberglass tip. Looks like we got some gunk stuck on the guide there. And we use this rod quite a bit when we go either creek exploring or especially when we go camping, because if there's one plus that this rod has, it's very durable. It definitely has the Ugly Stik durability, which is probably the biggest plus about this rod. Now, I mostly want to talk about this rod in terms of a multi-purpose catch fish up to 10 pounds all the way down to microfish, multi-purpose, multi-species rod. That's what we use it for. Now, it's marketed as a crappie rod, and I'm going to briefly talk about that, because my view on the crappie rod thing is pretty simple. This is not a good crappie rod. This rod costs about $40. I think the combo is $50. And I don't know if they still sell this 5.6 version. I got it on clearance a couple years ago directly from Ugly Stik for $30. So it was on sale, and that's one of the reasons I bought it. Now, the rod, my thinking when I bought it was I had these Ugly Stik 6-foot Ugly Stik GX2, which is this black rod right above. And I've written a review on this, and basically the last several years, this is the rod that I've been recommending people get for a multi-species all-purpose rod. 6-foot, light action, GX2, okay? Now, my daughter, who fishes with me a lot, uses, a few years ago, she was using a smaller version of this. Okay, here's the rod that she was using when I got her the crappie rod. So when we started our YouTube channel, my daughter was only 7 years old. She's on most of the videos that I'm fishing. And this was the first real combo, fishing combo that I got. As you can see, and I've done a review on this rod as well, it has seen heavy use. I mean, I'm not exaggerating if I say she's caught, 1,000 fish with this rod. So this is a 4'8" ultralight GX2, okay? And when I did the review, I got a lot of grief from people who said, hey, that's not a kid's rod, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is a great rod for kids because it doesn't weigh very much, and it's almost unbreakable. And even the reel still works, believe it or not. It's a little worse for the wear, but it still works. But what I wanted was something that as she got a little bit bigger, she could have a little bit bigger rod. It wouldn't be quite so heavy for her to carry around, but I didn't want it to be quite as big as the 6 foot and heavy as the 6 foot GX2. So that's why I bought this crappie rod. Now, as a crappie rod, it's not a very good rod because it's not very sensitive at all. Just like all ugly sticks, the tips of them are very limber, and you're not going to detect crappie bites very easily with this rod. It's actually kind of funny. I mean, I'm sure people are going to hate me for this, but I've done so many ugly stick reviews and they've all been positive reviews. But this rod is sort of just doesn't make any sense to me. It seems more like a marketing thing, and they sell it in a 7 foot and an 8 foot too as well. That would take care of one of the problems with this rod, that at 5'6" size, it's really horrible to cast. The accuracy is just really bad, and it doesn't cast very far either. Okay, so that's because of the 5'6" size. Even the 4'8" is you can kind of whip things out a little bit better and with more accuracy than the 5'6". And if you go up to the 6 foot ugly stick, it's just much more accurate. And really, it's not too much bigger than this other rod. So it's just not a very good crappie rod. But I didn't really buy it for a crappie rod. I bought it as a multi-species rod. And for that, the rod actually works pretty decently. If you're soaking bait, it does just fine. You can reel in very big fish with the rod. It's just not very sensitive. So if you have a night crawler on the bottom or some live bait, you can throw an ounce weight on here, just fine. And it's an ugly stick, so it's not going to break on you, which is nice. Now, when I hold my rods, my spinning rods, I usually keep holding them like a trigger finger, like this, okay? This rod is really annoying for that because they have these exposed threads down here on this really chintzy plastic reel seat, and it's just pretty much too annoying for me to use. But my daughter has very small hands, and so she holds it more classically up here above the reel. And with her little hands, she can actually fit this here, but for a normal sized person, this isn't even big enough to hold that way. So it's really poorly designed. If you look at even the other ugly stick handle on the GX2, they give you a hand grip up here. So you can actually hold it, and it screws down from the top. So, and all these threads are covered up. There's no exposed threads. You can hold on the bottom or you can hold on the top. It's equally comfortable. The way they designed this, you hold on the bottom, it's uncomfortable, and unless you have teeny tiny hands, if you hold right there, it's uncomfortable too. So it's just the worst of both worlds. There's just no reason to ever do that, especially with the exact company. I don't know if they just wanted to make it different or what their thinking was, but this is very poorly designed. And we can go the other way with the Fenwick, which is made by Shakespeare too, or owned by them, and you'll see a similar thing. So if you grip down here, there's no exposed threads, right? Okay. If you grip at the top, well, it's really made to grip at the bottom, and then you just have this small handle at the top. But to make up for it, if you're someone like me that holds at the bottom, it's great, it's comfortable. And so you got a 50-50 chance. If you're somebody that holds at the top, it's probably not so great because it just has that little nub, see? Just like the crappie stick does, only it's in cork. So with a GX2, you get everybody's happy, no matter how they hold their rod, or depending on how you're casting. I mean, sometimes I'll switch and hold from the top. So this is the best design out of all of them. And this is halfway there. It's prettier. The cork looks better on the Fenwick. Okay, and the crappie rod is just the worst of every world, basically. Now, the GX2 costs about the same as the crappie rod. The Fenwick is about $10 more, $10 or $12 more. So, but as a crappie rod, the Fenwick just blows blows the Ugly Stik GX2 away. And listen, I mean, these guides are almost exactly the same. If I just showed you the guides, okay, they're tilted a little bit differently. Basically identical on all 3 rods, okay? So, but the sensitivity on the Fenwick, this is the Fenwick Eagle, by the way. I'll let you get the specs here. 6-foot medium light, okay? So very comparable and a comparable price. And if you're going actually crappie fishing, a much superior rod. So, so my final word on this, and I know these crappie rods come in longer sizes, in the 7 and 8 and maybe even 9-foot versions. But when you get a rod that big, then this rod is too heavy. I mean, this is built like an Ugly Stik. I mean, it is just not built for, you know, specific crappie fishing. It's built for, you know, like catfishing, really. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that people, you know, if I worked for Ugly Stik and I was trying to sell Ugly Stiks, it's one more set of Ugly Stiks you can sell to your fans. But if it was me, you know, for a crappie stick, I would just buy something better. The GX2 light version is better. The Fenwick Eagle is better in the same price range. And then as a multi-species rod, while it works okay, it's too short. It's too short. 5.6 is just too short. So we kept it, and we still use it on campouts and stuff. My daughter still uses it because it's still reasonably comfortable for her to hold it right here, especially when we're walking creeks and stuff. A lot of times she takes this when we're camping. But other than that, I would pass on it. Don't be enticed. I liked the white color, and I thought she might like it a little more than the black. We don't really do, like, you know, pink girly rods here. So, but I thought the white was kind of a cool color, and it might be a decent change. But the downsides were more than I expected. I expected to get a white GX2, and, you know, the other things just kind of turned me off. So hopefully you like the review. If you run across these, you know, I would pick something different. Thanks for watching Team Kramer Fishing. Make sure to like the video if you liked it. Maybe I saved you a little money. And subscribe if you want to see more reviews and fishing videos.